Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Kingsley3121 if you are new to this channel. In our previous videos, we explored the fascinating world of expressions. In the first video, we dived into the fundamentals, focusing on connecting multiple nodes and controlling them with one single parameter. On the second video, we took it a step further, uncovering the magic of formulas to achieve the silky smooth animations. Now brace yourself, because today we are taking expression artistry to the next level. Remember the nodes that I use, for example, Goku and myself? Those are the name of the nodes. Well, we are going to use the same reference to showcase how combining both method, node connections, and formulas to unleash an even more dynamic animations. If you're excited to level up your fusion skills, let's dive right in. So I'm not going to be as in-depth as I was in my previous two videos, but I'm going to combine both methods so that you could see an example of what you could do with both methods. By the way, these are just basic animation, nothing crazy. The idea is just to show you what you could do with it. So I'm going to recreate those Goku and myself nodes because I believe I should stick with the same example that I used in my previous video to continue driving the point home. Okay, so I'm going to recreate this. Okay, I'm going to bring down a background node and I'm going to connect this node, and I'm going to use a rectangular mask for it. Okay, and I'm going to name this myself. Okay, so this is myself. Okay, so I'm going to bring down another background node, and I'm going to select the background, and I'm going to select rectangular node, and I'm going to name this Goku. And don't forget, Goku has always been the controller. From my previous video, you should know that Goku has been the controller, and myself is where I always write the expressions. So what I'm going to do is to change the color of myself, because you want to differentiate between Goku and myself. So I'm going to pick green, as that was the case for the last video. Well, Goku is behind, so that's why you're not seeing it. Okay, so green, and let's make Goku like orange type color. Okay, orange type color. That's like the color of his uniform, if I believe. If you've seen Dragon Ball Z, I think that's the color of his outfit that he usually wears, reddish to orange. Okay, so I'm going to select OK. Okay, so Goku has this color and I have green. I'm going to change the positions. Okay, just like I always do in both of my previous videos. They all have the same location. Well, this position is just to make sure you could see both Goku and myself fully. Okay, I'm going to connect myself to the X value of Goku, all right? So we are experts now in using expressions, right? Okay, or we can at least write simple expressions at this point. So we are going to go to myself and hit expression, and we are going to go to the point X, and we're going to write our expressions. Okay, so to do that, simple, we're going to write the name of Goku. All right, Goku dot center dot X. Okay, so now they both have the same X value. Okay, so we've done this in our previous videos. So what's happening now is both Goku and myself now have the same X values. I've been given the instruction to be the same X value as Goku. Okay, which is why I've written the instruction to myself node. So that way I've been given the instruction to be whatever X value Goku is. So that's what's happening right now. Okay, so Now that's great. Okay, but the next thing is what I want to be. I want to be 1 minus whatever x value Goku is. So the reason why I use 1, as I've explained in my first video, you could go and check it out for a full explanation, but I use 1 because, as you noticed, myself is 0.75 center and Goku was 0.25. So if you add them together, it's going to be 1. So when I use 1, I want it to be side by side. Okay, so that's why I use 1. But I want it to be side by side using expressions for a reason. Okay, so now I'm going to use 1 minus 7.5. If you minus 1 from 7.5, it's going to be 0.25. 1 minus, and that happens because it's 1 minus Goku dot center dot x. So 1 minus 0.75. So if you go to Goku now to control it, both move in the opposite way. Okay, so whenever Goku moves, I'm going to subtract 1 from what? The value of Goku. So it gives this kind of animations. That's why I did that. So this we have already gone over in our previous videos, okay? And we did formulas in the following video. We can combine both formulas and expressions like that. So what can we do now? It's easy. After writing the expressions on myself to connect both x values, now what we could do now is to also write an expression on the controller, which is Goku. Remember, Goku becomes the controller because now he controls myself fate when it comes to the x value. So what we can do now is to write an expressions on the center of the controller. What we could do now is to write a formula. Well, it could be on the x or on the y, but I'm going to write on the point x, okay? Center x. I'm going to just write one of the formulas that I've used before. If you go to my last video, you're going to see the same formula. So this is not a new formula, okay? So I'm just going to write one of those formulas. Square absolute sin time divided by 20. Okay, so we're going to close brackets. Remember to always look out for the number of brackets. Okay, so now we have 3 brackets. So on closing, we are going to also have 3 brackets. All right, otherwise it won't work. So multiply by 0.25. Okay, so just remember when you multiply or when you add, like those are usually to start at a certain position, certain offset. Okay, you could play around with the multiplications, and at my self node, remember I use 1 minus. You could also play with that number depending on the outcome that you want to have. Okay, so when I hit enter, okay, so something is wrong. Okay, so this is what I said. You always have to make sure everything is right. All right, so something went wrong. I used too many brackets. I could see that right now because I have 3 brackets here and I have 1 extra at the end. Okay, so we have to move 1 because it has to be 3 on each side. Okay, boom, and that worked. So now when I hit play, this is the motion you have. Okay, so this is based on time, so it's going to keep going as long as the composition goes. So if I extend the composition, it's still going to go to the end of that composition. So this is the kind of animation that you could actually get from sin, okay, from sine, because it's a smooth movement. All right, so also remember that it's stopping at the middle because I use absolute, because when you use sine, it goes from -1 to 1, but when you put absolute, it takes out the minus, so everything becomes a positive. So that's why it's stopping here. Okay, and the numbers, I just played around with the numbers to get that point perfect, to stop right at the middle. Okay, so that's where I use the 0.25. When I wrote the formulas, I use 1 minus the center of Goku. Okay, and at this formula, I multiplied it by 0.25. Now, if I multiply this with another number, let's say multiply this by 0.5. now it overlaps. Okay, what happened is it's ending at the middle because that's where 0.5 means, in the middle. But that depends on the formula too. So they both have to align. Okay, so you're gonna have to play with these numbers to achieve whatever you're trying to achieve. Okay, and if you want me to explain the words individually, I could do that too. Okay, that's gonna take longer to explain, and I'm not trying to make this video too long. All right, I'm trying to make this quick. Okay, so this is how you could use expressions in connecting both nodes and using formulas. All right, so we could achieve something like this. All right, so I like these animations just because this is good for transitions or good for any animation that you want to close the doors and open. All right, so that's why I use that animations. Cool. At this point, it might be an overkill with these explanations. All right, so let's do something interesting. All right, so this is something that I had time to just think about. So think about, what can you do with expressions? All right, so let's go with, all right, so I'm just gonna bring a random background and I'm going to bring the alpha down just because I don't want the background to interfere with this, what I'm about to do right now. So this is gonna be a quick one. Okay, so I'm gonna bring another background. And what I'm gonna do is, okay, so remember, expressions can be used to achieve a bunch of complicated animation that you might not be able to achieve, or you could achieve them, but it's gonna take a lot of work without expressions. Okay, so for instance, imagine you're trying to build an arm on expressions, right? When you move your arm moves, but this part moves with a different speed with this part, all right, to give you that moving motion. Okay, so I'm gonna try to recreate something like this with an arm. So this is what expression can do. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna do that quick. I've done this before on my own. I'm just have to redo it again. All right, so we're gonna use polygon. All right, I'm gonna draw this part first. Since they're gonna move at separate speed, you wanna draw it with a separate nodes. All right, so this part, I'm gonna draw this part first. It's gonna be rough, so don't judge my drawings, right guys? Don't laugh at me neither. This is just boom. Okay, don't laugh. We could always make it a little better. So I'm just trying to recreate on the arm. So, all right, so let's take that part to be this part. All right, so let's bring another node for this part because we're trying to make it, again, separate speed. So we're gonna make it different. Okay. Touch a polygon as well. Okay, so where should I start with that one? You know, start it like this, So, all right. Now, this looks horrible, but don't laugh at me right now. So I believe that's okay. That looks like an arm. All right. So we are going to add transform node. I'm gonna tell you the reason why we have to add a transform node. Okay, to both the arm and the entire hand. All right, so well, the reason why I'm adding transform is because we are going to move the pivot. All right, so the pivot plays an important part in this, so that's why we have to add transformations. Okay, so we are going to use a transform node because transform node allows you to play with the pivots. Okay, so let's go to transform node, and again, I want the information to be written in the forearms because I want the biceps and the hand to be the controller. Okay, so that makes more sense to me. All right, so it's easy. Now we're gonna go here and write expressions. All right, so this is where we're gonna put transform 4 dots angle. Now we want the forearm to move a little faster, just to create a natural movement of your arm movement. Okay, because this usually move faster. All right, so What we could do now is to multiply it by 2 just to see how fast it's going to move. So we're going to multiply this by 2. The reason why we try to move the pivot is because now we want the pivot to be somewhere around here so that it does not go away from right here where it was joined. Because if the pivot is not here, then the arm is going to move away from the entire connections. So let's move the pivot here. Okay, so we go to pivot and we take it down here, put it right at this position. Okay, this is perfect. Okay, and we'll move the centers a little bit so it doesn't go out of focus. All right, so, and we are going to go here as well and move the pivot right here. Now, whenever it moves, it's going to move within the pivot. Okay, so we've seen the formulas. All right, so now let's move the angle. Okay, we could put this transform right here so that it moves everything instead of one particular thing. Okay, so we're gonna move the transform right here, and let's move this now. As you can see, it's different. Boom. Now it's moving a little bit too fast. Okay, so maybe 2 is too fast. We could put 1.5. So again, sometimes the placement of our nodes behave differently. When you place it at the background directly, it's moving just from the arm. But when you place it over here, it's moving an entire image. If there was a background, it's going to move the background as well. Okay, so the formula that you're going to use is going to be a bit different. Okay, well, I'm not trying to perfect this right now. This is just to show you what you could do with expressions. So now if I move this, okay, it's more of a natural movement. So these are the kind of stuff you could do. And remember, you could always add more expressions to the same controller. So one single movement could control an entire movement. That's how you get complicated animations. So guys, this video is already going too far. All right, I just wanted to make a quick example of what you could use expressions for. Okay, so maybe I might actually take my time and create something wordy. All right, something cooler instead of just using examples. So guys, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, make sure to subscribe and share. All right, and if you wish to get an update from my upcoming videos, hit that notification bell.